Okay. Good evening, everybody. 大家晚安. Good evening. Today is Wednesday, May 6th, here in the Gold Coast of Queensland. Welcome to everyone who has joined online. You know something funny? Zoom software has now allowed us to do digital effects, and this is maximum adjust for beauty. It erases all my wrinkles. You want to see it? Here we go. It's called Touch Up My Appearance. You ready? You want to see the ugly truth? There it is. There. And it's not much different. Oh, it makes me look younger. Okay, there's the truth. Yeah. So here is maximum soft. This is beauty glow. Isn't that lovely? Yeah, how about halfway? There we go. Video effects. All right. So, again, welcome everyone. And I'm going to share my screen. Here we are. Oh, look who's here. I have something to start off tonight with a little bit of humor. Let me show you who showed up. This video is 2 hours old. How many of you have seen a baby Corella? This is a Corella Baba. He's probably, I don't know how to guess, he might be 2 months old maybe, but he's as big as his parents, but he knows nothing about being a bird. And you can tell by his sound that he just wants to be taken care of. Are you ready? Baby Corella. Hold on. Here it is. Baby Corella. Imagine being his parents. You don't have to imagine. I will show you his parents. His mother goes, "Oh no. What do I do?" Feed me, feed me, feed me, feed me. Here's Dad. Dad is like, I don't know that kid. I don't know, have anything to do with him. He's like, anybody want a baby? I'll give you mine. He's a mouth connected to a stomach, that's all. Baby Corella. Okay. So, can we put our palms together and say, Namo Ban Shi Shi Jia Mo Ni Fo. Namo Ban Shi Shi Jia Mo Ni Fo. Homage to fundamental teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Miao Jue Hui Shang Fo Pusa. Namo Miao Jue Hui Shang Fo Pusa. Homage to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of Wonderful Enlightenment Mountain. Okay, good indeed. We are talking about stories from a pilgrimage and relating it to our Emperor Liang repentance. 特别欢迎所有各位在网络上参加的各位佛友。Special welcome to all of you who are joining us online. Now, the pilgrimage traveled to, as we heard, Devil's Slide. Where is Devil's Slide? Devil's Slide is south of San Francisco. Here is San Francisco. Devil's Slide is on the Pacific coast. This is the San Francisco Bay. This is the San Francisco Airport. So it's even with the airport, but it's directly on the coast. So it's one of the most western points of North America. There's not much that's even further north. We take a look. I guess Point Reyes is actually further west. But from here on, California is all that way. So this is, the weather that hits Devil's Slide is very intense. Strong winds. And there's no protection from storms. So it gets its name, 魔鬼山, for a reason. And the last time we told our stories, we were in the heart of Devil's Slide. We call it the Battle of Devil's Slide because the wind tried to blow us off the coast. And this is the, depending on your point of view, that's Devil's Slide if you turn and look back, right? So it's very inhospitable. That's the nature of it. Now, today's story, there are two. I'm going to tell two stories. And the principle of today's stories are 一切唯心造. Everything is made from your perspective. Perspective is everything. One story happens here before we get over Devil's Slide and into the shelter, and the other happens right here, just after we have made it around the corner of Devil's Slide, where the wind is protected by these cliffs. And it was exactly, the second story is exactly here, where there was a road turnout before we went down, and we could see all the way from, this is still high elevation, and you can see down the coast all the way to the city of Pacifica. This is Pacifica, and Pacific means peace, right? Pacified. The city of Pacifica. So with that in mind, let's jump into today's story. And it's taken from, this is the actual journal that we wrote from that point, and here's what it looked like. The topic is reversing. Now, let's see here. The Tao Te Ching says, 凡者道之动，弱者道之用. So, 凡者, reversing Tao之动 is the motion that the Tao works with. 弱者, softness, gentleness, yielding, is the way the Tao functions. So it's the motion of the Tao and the function of the Tao. So this is part one. So it goes like this. Reversing is the method of transferring affliction to Bodhi. 就以烦恼化为菩提. Reversing is the way skillful martial artists live long. 有功夫的武士，他们如果要长寿的话，一定要懂得反着 ，right？ 回，也可以说是回，这样子转回来。Reversing is the motion of the Tao, 反着道之动. Reversing is the way we can become Buddhas. I saw the principle in action yesterday as we reached the foot of Devil's Slide. Master Shifu Xuangong Shangren gave us the teaching in a lecture at Gold Wheel last month when we were in Los Angeles. He said, Buddhas are accomplished by going against the flow. From beginningless eons until this very day, we have been turning on the wheel of rebirth, all because of two words, shun, going with the flow, and ni, going against the flow, or reversing. Buddhism teaches us to 回光返照，就是说反转, right? 回. Today at lunch, I did not say no to pastries. This is before I took the sweet, the no sugar bath. I didn't say no to pastries, cookies, or sugared yogurt, and I went with the flow of flavors. I got reversed. 我是被反过来的. My head was buzzing, my cheeks were burning. I looked up and found the car was surrounded by giggling girls, young girls. They stared in our windows and asked all kinds of improper questions. 不应该问的问题，他们就在问一些女孩子。I reversed my eyes and ears, I held my tongue, I played possum until they left. Possums play dead, so I just sat like that. Didn't respond. Not looking, not responding, turned the sticky energy flow back, thank goodness. Monks don't socialize. 和尚不会去跟社会交流. Okay, we bowed up to Devil's Slide. We broke camp after bowing, meaning time to move. We had finished bowing, we transferred the merit, and we're packing up because we have to find a place to stay that is not on the highway. You're not allowed to camp on the highway in California. So a pack of hostile, fuzzy-chinned adolescents on bicycles buzzed the car. They pelted us with rocks, threw rocks. They cursed the air blue. These children were 13, 14, 15, 青少, 还没有 16, 17. They were adolescents, and they were cursing, 就说恶口到极点，不要听的一些恶口. They were mean and hard as gangsters, 黑社会. They were pretend teenage gangsters. The two leaders of the group on their bicycles approached, and with voices that still squeaked, their voices were still ha, you know, they hadn't got their, they swore, "What are you assholes doing?" No response, right? Heng Chao signaled me, 快一点，收拾我们的水瓶. Put the water jugs in the car faster. "You weirdos meet a lot of reporters, don't you?" asked another one. "You in the news a lot, huh?" He scoffs. 这样子. No answer. 不答复，不回答. We hustle inside, feeling like chickens in the coop with foxes outside. The kid's daring grows. "You freaks are virgins, aren't you?" snarls a 14-year-old. Between nervous, rapid puffs on a cigarette. Puffing on a cigarette. We drove away, hit the highway, as these flint-edged kids whoop and holler, "Baldies, freaks, get lost!" We took shelter half a mile up the highway behind a screen of tall bushes in a vacant lot. Heng Chao said, 有的时候以退为进, he said. We take a retreat as an advance, with a shake of his head. The showdown with the kids was too hot to handle. It was easy to read the potential for violence in those unhappy children. Words were useless. They wanted a fight. We retreated and reversed the flow, like martial artists who live long by not fighting. We talked over the day's lessons and decided that as we enter the Bay Area, we will disappear like ghosts after bowing, like phantoms, and stay low profile during lunch. Woody Guthrie has a song that goes, "We come with the dust and we go with the wind." We will do this to reduce the opportunity for confrontation. So I wrote down, what turns children into cutthroats? Hung Chao meditated, and then he wrote down, it's difficult to be an adolescent. Adolescents have it tough. They're changing fast inside, and outside they are teased by advertising. Marlboro cowboys, rock and roll superstars, famous misfits and rebels with adult desires. We are two monks. We don't fight. We don't talk. We don't want money or clothes, fun or fame or friends. This says to these children that their desires don't matter, that they can be soft, that their tough shells are useless and unnecessary. It must be hard to feel yourself sucked downstream by the flow of desire. Desires that you don't want or even understand. But then you come face to face with monks who have dug their heels in to go against the flow. This goes sideways. Let's see here. The pressure they feel runs like a river. They see us, and the river hits solid rock. Water sprays everywhere, right? The pressure they feel, being adolescents in society with advertising telling them that they need desire to succeed. And here are two monks who totally don't represent it, and the children don't know what to do. I saw Hung Chao's principles in the kids' painfully tight expressions in their faces. They want to stand on solid ground, to seek lasting truth and meaning in life, but they have no way to douse the flames of greed, lust, fame, wealth, 财色名食睡, flavor and comfort. They have no method of reversing. The children don't have the skill of hui, guang, or fa. The kids asked us about fame and virginity. Their desire, ming, yu, si, yu, burn hotter than a torch. The Buddha explained, there are people, I'll show you the Chinese first. The Chinese is here. 佛言人随清欲求与生名生名求生名贤者生一故 Let's see here. 贪世长名而不学道，况功劳性 Okay, 譬如小香虽然温香 that's a mistake, 不是那个温，温香香之炉矣，为生之火。哦，这是42章经，难怪。OK，为生之火而在其欲。That's not very good Chinese. As the Buddha said, there are people who follow emotion and desire and seek for fame. Before their reputation is established, they are already dead. Those who are greedy for worldly fame and don't study the way wear themselves out in wasted effort. It's just like a stick of burning incense, which, however fragrant its scent, consumes itself. Ah, I see. So too, greed for fame brings the danger of a fire, which burns you up in its aftermath. 42章经, that's really, really powerful. 佛言人虽轻欲求与生名，生名虽者 OK， even 虽然你得到名，可是呢，生已故，你已经死了啊。贪世长名而不学道， 功劳心了啊。譬如小香随人温香，香自己就烧尽了啊，生就那么欲就这样子。Okay, there's another one here. The Buddha further said, as to love and desire, no desire is as deep-rooted as sex. There's nothing greater than the desire for sex. Fortunately, it's one of a kind. If there were something else like it, nobody in the entire world would be able to cultivate the way. 42章经就说佛言爱欲魔生于色，色智为欲，其大无外。It's good that 有一个若有第二种欲念，就是欲望上色欲，那么普天之人谁能为道呢？没有了。Okay. So I went to sleep with a renewed resolve for purity. I reflected on my own years of scorching misery in the flames of desire, and I felt my heart go out to every child who passes through the troubled, turbid, dangerous chasm of adolescence. What great good fortune to meet the Buddha Dharma and to hear the wisdom of reversing before the stick of incense burns itself out. Right? So that is the story, the first story. And as I mentioned, the theme that I want to communicate is the idea of everything is made from the mind, because here I was, now my desire was reduced to sugar in food, and because I knew that if I eat a lot of sweet things, when it's time to bow in the afternoon and you go immediately back to bowing, my mind is going to be confused. It's going to be fuzzy. Well, sure it was. And sure enough, that little subtle outflow drew people to the car. It drew girls to the car, laughing and giggling, and then it drew the kids, hostility, both Tan and Chen, one after the other. And so I connected that it was my fuzzy thoughts and lack of focus that the outer world was picking up on. It's just that subtle. Trying to be, and when I can focus my mind and bow, amazing, we disappear. People didn't notice because our 向外像6个门往外漏的光明收回来，反过来。So everything is made from the mind. Okay, and then judging, I thought Marty's comments, Hung Chao's comments were right on, that these young people, young boys, were right at that age where they are uncertain about their own strength. And they don't entirely buy the messages that they receive from advertising, and yet that's what they're told, that to be tough, to be a man, you have to be hard, you have to be fearless, you have to be mean, and the way you prove that is by anger and aggression and conquering things outside, including monks. And so when the monks don't fight back, what do? It's confusing. Who am I? Who are they? Why are they? Should I be like them? That can't be right, you know. So on one hand, we could have possibly, even though I wasn't talking, we could have stayed and talked to them, but it was clear that these kids wanted to fight, and they don't know their own strength, and so, and this is California, they could easily have weapons, they could have guns, we don't know. So better to retreat, right? So that's, and yet simply by appearing and being an alternative to the adult males that they had seen, we were serving a purpose, giving them something to think about, even though we were considered baldies and weirdos, right? And not much different. Okay, one point of view. Second point of view. All of us kids on West Point Road. On the corner of West Point Road, we had now come over the top and we were down on the way to Pacifica. At the corner of West Point Road, school kids came from 4 directions to stare and figure out what a bhikshu is. There were big kids and little kids. There was a crowd of them. And then I thought of a sutra principle that says, 我当随顺一切如来等观众生. I should follow the thus come ones and contemplate all beings as equal. This is the 10 Practices chapter. I saw myself in the group as another one of the school kids, learning about myself. I was a living being, part of the circle of freckle-faced young ones. We were full of habits and faults, and it was okay to be that way. But there were differences too. These kids on the corner were all aglow. Their inner radiance shone from wide eyes and open faces. I wasn't a child, I was an, quote, adult. And I had learned to cover my light, to not be open and interested. I knew how to hide my feelings and paint my thoughts in polite colors and proper grammar. I had learned to be a phony. These kids were different. See, they're not so weird, said a cheerful, fresh-faced girl. Yeah, good luck, mister. Hope you make it all the way, said her friend. I realized that even though I was a monk not speaking, that had I been part of their group, I had already learned how to not be open and innocent and fresh. I'm a phony, but the kids saw something real in the bowing that was bigger than the monk who bowed. Bowing to the Buddha puts living beings on the ground where we are level and equal, all one age and true. He vows that all living beings eternally escape everything that covers them over and binds them up. 愿一切众生与诸盖乎，究竟得出，是为生平. Okay, so these were not yet adolescents. These kids were maybe 12, maybe 10, but they were all very interested in what a bhikshu was. And because the road was very fast here, so we had to bow in place. So we found the bus stop behind where the school bus stopped. We stopped and bowed 200 bows there, so we were there for a couple hours and joined in with all the kids. So they had a good chance to see what we were doing and to ask lots of questions. All right, now, as we came down the road, down the slope to Pacifica, because Devil's Slide was high, we ran into bad weather. And luckily, just at the top, in cold, pouring rain, there was a Caltrans repair yard. Caltrans is the road repairs, California State Road Repair. And they had a turnout where their bulldozers and their trucks could stop and reload, and they had many piles of gravel, piles of sand, piles of dirt there, and road signs, stacks of road signs and things. So it was a perfect place for us to walk 1, 2, 3, 1 bead, 1, 2, 3, 2 beads, 1, 2, 3, 3 beads. Count the number of steps because it was too narrow above to bow. We had to walk for quite a ways to get over Devil's Slide and down. So we were at this turnout, the Caltrans road repair turnout, for half of a day. And I remember it was cold, it was dark early, and cars were coming with their headlights on and coming down towards Pacifica. And one fellow, one set of headlights pulled off and stopped behind us and lit up our path ahead, and the guy got out. And it was just time for us to pack up bowing, and this we went down to park the car, and this guy followed us. And here's what happened. So, 一切为心造, everything is made from the mind. Everything is made from your perspective. We finished bowing in Valimar, Pacifica, beside a neighborhood grocery. We weaved through the kids, dogs, and cars to the Plymouth parked on a side street by a warehouse. A man in a blue parka. He looked like a lawyer. He had a full black beard, but he looked wealthy. He was dressed really nicely. He was in his late 30s. He rapped on the window as we prepared to leave. And he spoke quickly, and we could see that he was not comfortable. He was ill at ease. He said, "May I talk to you?" He said, "I wanted to tell you what happened to me." And we're, okay, and you have to make a decision really quickly. And he seemed sincere, even though he was not at ease talking. He said, "Last week, I felt really bad. I saw you two bowing by the roadside, and I hated you at first sight. As soon as I saw you, I hated you. You looked sinister somehow, standing there beside this car and smiling," he said, defensively. He went on to say, "I came home and I told my wife about it, and she set me straight. She showed me the newspaper article about your pilgrimage. I really liked it, what you were doing. Especially, I like the part about your trying to get rid of your own faults and help the world out that way." Now, I realized that I didn't write down everything that he said. What he said was, "I even considered driving my car into you and then driving away. I considered driving my car, hitting you with my car and driving away. I thought I would be helping the world out by getting rid of you," he said. I guess I didn't write that down. He said, "I saw, as my wife showed me the article, that you probably weren't sinister at all, that it was me all along," he said. Now, waking up to that fact really helped me out. He said, I wanted to tell you that seeing you bowing now helped me feel better," said the man, now much warmer and more open. 若人之心行，普照诸世间。世人子见佛，了佛真实性。This is the Yemo Tian Ji Zanping. If a person knows the mind's actions as it universally creates the world, this person then sees the Buddha and understands the Buddha's true and real nature. He continued, now very shy and very vulnerable, not hard and tense as when he first approached us. He appeared anxious to speak his mind and to share his experience at self-discovery. He said, I was seeing myself and not really seeing you at all. You helped me see myself. Every once in a while, people help me out, in that way, and set me straight. And I'm grateful. The man paused, as if relieved of a burden. He said, "You don't take weekends off. I passed you on Friday, and then on Sunday, I saw you again, riveted to that same spot, doing exactly the same thing as if you had never stopped." And Hung Chao spoke for the first time. It's dangerous for motorists to pull over and talk when the road gets narrow. So in cases like that, we count up the number of bows and bow them in one place. It's safer that way. He said, "What will you do when you get to the freeway in Pacifica? Do you have what you need, maps and all?" Yes, we have what we need." "Well then, I'm glad to have met you. Good luck and goodbye," he said. Self-conscious and formal once again, the man stiffly wheeled around and headed for his van. His shy, sensitive mind was cloaked once more in an adult's businesslike, gruff covering. Bowing mirrored the man's mind. He returned his own light, Hui Guang, and in the reflection, he saw his true mind peeking out at life and painting reality in sinister colors. So, the magic of the Buddha Dharma shines back our thoughts as they universally reveal the tireless, infinitely creative master artist of the mind. The sutra says, "The mind is like an artist. It can paint an entire world. The 5 skandhas all come from it. There are no dharmas it does not create. 心如工画师，能画诸世间。五蕴悉从生，无法而不造." As is the world, so too is the Buddha, and living beings are all the same. Know then that the Buddha and the mind in substance and nature are infinite. 如心佛亦然，如佛众生然。应知佛于心，体性皆无尽。Okay, so 天龙夜叉九分叉. Okay, so here is another individual. It was first the teenagers, the adolescents, who saw us, and we were a threat. We were something to explore, but they explored us through the lens of struggle and aggression and negativity and fear and attack. Then it was followed by children slightly younger who didn't have that layer of pressure to be something difficult or something strong and fearless. So as a result, they were able to see us very differently. They were curious. They wanted to know what we were all about. Followed by the man who said, it was me all along. And in the process of telling us about his discovery of, thank goodness his wife told him that we were on a pilgrimage for world peace, because before he discovered what we were about, he wanted to kill us, he said. But then once he realized that we were not what he assumed we were, then he said, I completely reflected and realized that it was me all along. All that negativity came from me. And then he wanted to help us. Okay. I got another one. 一切为心造. How sad. Why not? February 11th. Wake up, world. This is radio station KBUD, the Buddhist Broadcasting Network, bringing you the sunrise of good news this morning from the city of 10,000 Buddhas. Could it be? Why not? Why not a big, big radio beacon with space for Theravada, Vietnamese, Thai, Korean, Japanese, Tibetan, Sri Lankan, British, Chinese, and American disciples, even Australian, to bring good Dharma into American homes? Where else but Wanfo-Cheng is it possible? And I add a quote, I don't have one. The Master urges us to do what has not been done before. The sky is no longer the limit when we cultivate within the Avatamsaka's Dharma realm. Why not a huge wayplace church hall where Methodists, Mormons, Jews, Baptists, Lutherans, and Muslims join in worship together? Why can't all religious leaders bring their faith in goodness to a common ground? No killing, no eating meat, no warring, no theft, no lust or adultery, no lying, no alcohol, tobacco, or drugs. With these simple rules as our solid bedrock of communion, what problem dividing the world can't be solved? The city is ready. Let's use it. Dharma Realm Buddhist University could bring the hottest, most vital topics facing all people into focus. Imagine the Pope, the Archbishop, the Orthodox Synod leaders, and Buddhist Sanghas holding a panel discussion broadcast from Wanpo-Chang's station, KBUD, K-Buddha. The questions, birth and death, cause and effect, the family, filiality, virtue, and personality, how to be a proper man, woman, parent, child, disciple. Why not? Who says it's impossible? Just when you think of how CTDB has gone the other direction, it's kind of heartbreaking. 所有与我同行者，于一切处同集会，身口意业皆同等，一切恒愿同修学，普信恒愿品. May all who cultivate with me assemble together in one place, our karma of body, mouth, and mind the same, as we cultivate and study all our practices and vows. Okay, February 12th, 6 a.m. We shave our heads beside Nick's restaurant. The water cools off before the job is done. How did the ancients cope before super sharp razor blades came about? 剔除贫虚，当愿众生，远离烦恼，究竟寂灭. A police car pulls up. Are we busted for trespassing? No. He came to make an offering of soda and ask if we need any help. Hairless monks in t-shirts with razors and lather. The constable with a .38 caliber pistol and a billy club holding out soft drinks, a big grin on his face. When I see a person dressed in armor, I vow that living beings will always be equipped with the armor of goodness and will turn towards the Dharma that requires no teacher. 见无夹会见无夹咒，当愿众生常福盖善凯，取无施法. Okay. All right. Let's see here. This is about words. Those are not the best. Let's see here. Passing through Pacifica, response to 3 steps, 1 bow, generally positive and high, full of joy. Everybody knows our purpose and wishes the work well. Thank you for what you're doing for me and my family, says a raw-boned working man with long, slick-back hair. Nice to have you around, from a woman jogger. It's a great thing you're doing for God, says a chubby teenage boy with a happy smile. When bodhisattvas cultivate this practice, they make all beings happy and joyful. 菩萨修此恒时，令一切众生欢喜爱乐。Okay, so a lot of what do you say? 一切为心造, right? So we'll keep going tomorrow night and the next night, finding episodes to share with everyone. Here's an example of, this is the next one, the Sharps Park Pepsi. Okay, so I would like to, since we are Samantabhadra, I would like us to learn this. We did it the other night. This is a good one to learn because this is the, we are doing the Liang Bao Chan here, and everybody's working really hard. This is the English of Wang Shi's Tuo Zhao Zhu Ye. This is the verse that I recited with every bow on my pilgrimage. And if we can learn this in English, then maybe walking back and forth to lunch or after lunch going to brush our teeth or something, this will come back to mind, I hope. And we can sing it in English. What do you say? Try it. Do it 3 times. For all the harmful things I've done with my body, speech, and mind, from beginningless greed, anger and stupidity, through lifetimes without number, to this very day, I now repent and I vow to change entirely. For all the harmful things I've done with my body, speech, and mind, from beginningless greed, anger and stupidity, through lifetimes without number, to this very day, I now repent and I vow to change entirely. For all the harmful things I've done with my body, speech, and mind, from beginningless greed, anger and stupidity, through lifetimes without number, to this very day, I now repent and I vow to change entirely. Last 2 lines. I now repent and I vow to change entirely. Okay, well, good work today, everybody. Glad that you all put in a solid Wednesday of bowing. the opportunity to bow the Emperor Liang's repentance in a pure monastery like this is rare. And all of you had enough wisdom to take the time to devote to this practice. You know that Emperor the Liang Wudi, the Emperor, Martial Emperor Liang, put this together with the help of Baozhi before the Tang Dynasty. So this is the fifth product of the 5th century, the 6th century in China. So how wonderful that even to this day it survived to carry us, to carry our thoughts from the deepest place of our mind all the way out to where we can repent of them and say, no more, I'm going to change and become a different person. Very rare and very special. So congratulations everybody, and I look forward to being with you again tomorrow night to share more stories from my experience bowing, and let's dedicate merit this way and send it out to the world. So everybody in Queensland, everybody in Australia, everybody on planet Earth can share in the goodness of our hard work in the Dharma. Here we go. May every living being arise as one and radiant is light. Share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see, the hands and hearts can find giving unity. May our minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light dispel the darkness of our endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. Alrighty, and before we end, how about if we all bow to Guanyin Bodhisattva together? Here we go. Yi Wenxun, Cai Wenxun, San Wenxun. Bow in respect to the Venerable Master. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. OK. 好，再胜各位佛友晚安，明天晚上